Welcome to Central Florida Salute YouTube. I'm your host, Bob Peters. Once again, I'm coming to you from Okahumpka Eagles, 4273, Lake County Eagles, that is. And I have an Army veteran with me. If you watched a past show with Rocky Lynn, you would have seen him up on stage. Handsome guy, and he's got his best friend with him. And we're going to talk about his best friend, but first we're going to talk to Mike Avery. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great, Bob. How are you? Good.
Welcome to Central Florida Salute. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from originally?
Yeah, I'm originally from the Mid-Hudson Valley region of New York, a small town called Kerhonkson. I grew up there until, I joined the Army.
So what made you go in the Army?
It was kind of a lifelong thing. I had a lot of family that were veterans, and it just felt like the right thing to do. My whole family has pretty much served, and just the way I was raised.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about your service with the Army. You were in the 82nd Airborne.
Yes, sir.
The same as Rocky was in.
Yes, sir.
And I have a lot of friends who were airborne. Personally, I don't go out of a good airplane.
Yeah, so I enlisted in the Army 4 days after my 17th birthday, March 17th, 1993. I initially joined the reserves because they have a split option program which allowed me to go to basic training the summer between my junior and senior year of high school. I enlisted as a RTO, a radio telephone operator, which is also the job that my grandfather did in World War II. So I went to basic training, came back during my senior year of high school. The MOS got eliminated, so the only option that I had was infantry in 11 Bravo. And so after my senior year in high school, I got sent to Fort Benning, Georgia, rolled into a class called OSIT, which is infantry basic training, basically. And my first duty assignment from there was Fort Drum, New York, in the 10th Mountain Division. It was only 4 hours from my house, so much for joining the Army to see the world.
Yeah, really.
But I stayed there for about a year and a half, and then I got orders to go to Korea, to 2nd Infantry Division. About 5 months into my tour in Korea, I re-enlisted to change my MOS from 11 Bravo to 31 Uniform, which is Signal Support System Specialist, which is the closest MOS I could find to my grandfather.
So what exactly is that MOS? What did you
Well,
do?
you utilize, maintain, and service FM radios.
Okay.
Predominantly at the time, the Army was using SINGAR radios, single interface, can't remember.
Radios.
Yeah, radios. So that was it, but basically as an infantryman, after I left Korea, I went to Fort Gordon, Georgia, where I trained in that MOS. And from there, that's when my time in the 82nd Airborne Division started. I originally went to a field artillery unit there, but I was chosen to drive the commanding officer and the command sergeant major of the battalion, which was an honor and a privilege to do. Basically stayed there for almost a full year, and then I got hurt. I compound fractured my leg on an airborne operation. I got laid up for a couple months. It was a setback, but it didn't put me out of commission. Shortly after that, the CO I was driving, he got promoted, and he took me up to what they call the Hill, Gavin Hall, which is the headquarters of the 82nd Airborne Division. At that time, I got promoted to a sergeant in E5, and it took me a little while, but I worked up the nerve to ask General Hood if he would let me go to a line unit where I could lead men, because as a sergeant, just as a driver, it doesn't look like I'm really leading.
Yeah, I understand, yeah.
So he graciously got me a position in 313th Military Intelligence Battalion. As a former infantryman, it was a perfect fit for me because I worked with the Long Range Reconnaissance Surveillance Team, which they are all infantrymen. I got made fun of a lot because I wasn't a Ranger, but you know, that definitely wasn't for me. And I stayed there for a little while, and then the sergeant major I used to drive for took over as the commandant of the NCO Academy, which is where I went to school to become a sergeant. It used to be called the Primary Leadership Development Course, or PLDC. He asked me to come over there and run the signal shop there. By ask, I mean he told. And so I did that for a while, which was a great opportunity because I also had the privilege of going through the Train the Trainer course. So I was certified as a trainer, and I did some fill-in duties when I was there. You know, if somebody couldn't make it, I taught the class for a little while. And then that's when 9/11 happened.
Yeah, I was going to say, what year did you go in? You were in high school. What year was that?
So 1993 was when I first went to basic training, and then when I graduated high school, it was 1994, and that's when I went to Fort Benning to OSIT.
You became active.
Yes, yep. And when 9/11 happened, we all got sent back to our home units. So I went back to 313th MI, prepared for a deployment. The military intelligence battalion didn't deploy, but the long-range reconnaissance team did under the umbrella of USASOC, the United States Army Special Operations Command. So I deployed with them originally to Kabul, and then further on to Kandahar province. You know, I was basically just support for them. But, you know, there were some things that you can't unstate that happened, and
yeah,
you know, that's kind of where things.
That's what they say, war is hell. You know, it really is. But if it weren't for men and women like you making a difference, we'd really be in trouble. So you know, remember that always, brother. Freedom, like they say, freedom's not free. But anyway, so how long were you there?
Actually, I was only there 41 days. We had an operation, and in the Army, they conduct an after-action review. So any operation you do or mission, they kind of pull the leaders together and they go over everything. During this after-action review, they realized I wasn't supposed to be deployed because of my leg injury. Technically, I was supposed to be put out of the Army, but I had that general looking out for me, yeah, and that command sergeant major, and this was all unbeknownst to me. I had no clue that they were really taking care of me. They knew I wanted to be a career soldier, and I wish I could thank them again, but they really took care of me. And so shortly thereafter, I went to Germany and then back to the States, and about 4 days later, I was out of the Army. It was kind of like the light.
So, you know, what was the total length of your involvement with the Army? You know, active.
So, active duty, it was 6 years and 10 months. Reserves was about a year and change. So, all total with reserve time and active time, just under 9 years total in the Army.
So, did you voluntarily leave, or did they?
No, I got what they call med boarded. The medical evaluation board said, no, I have nerve damage in my leg. Sometimes I lose control of my right ankle, which is obviously in a combat situation, and even in garrison, you know, it's a liability.
Oh, certainly, yeah. Not just for you, but for everybody else.
Absolutely. While at the time I hated it, you know, now looking back, I understand.
I can understand. If somebody wants to be a career soldier, and that had to be devastating.
Yeah, yep.
But so you got out of the Army, and I think you worked at the post office or something. What did you do?
The police department.
Oh, the police department.
Yeah.
They both start with P.
Yeah, you know, you were very close. Yeah, so when I got out, I returned to my hometown in upstate New York. I really was kind of lost, you know. I still had that kind of hypervigilance, that aggression, and, you know, I'm almost embarrassed to say uncontrollable rage at times.
That's understandable, yeah, but that's understandable. You know, it's, I can relate to that. I can understand you. So,
you know, I really was lost, and I had a friend recommend to, you know, maybe look at the New York City Police Department. I applied, and in January of 2005, I was sworn in as a police officer. The academy was 6 months, and that's in Manhattan. And then I got assigned to East New York, Brooklyn, which is a pretty high crime, or at least was back then, a high crime neighborhood. I walked a foot post every day there for 6 months, and then I got transferred to Astoria, Queens. And there I started out as 4 to 12 patrol, answering radio calls, then midnight patrol. I wanted to get the night shift differential for more money. Get comfortable, girl. It's okay.
Yeah. Relax.
And then I just kept progressing. I was very driven, as I was in the Army, and I got to a conditions cabaret team, so we did bar and club enforcement, and then to a street narcotics team where we did observation sales of narcotics, and then finally to an anti-crime team, which is where you look at complaint reports and try to see where, almost analyze and guess where the next crime's going to be, follow, repeat offenders of the precinct and see where they are. So it was a very military-like operation, and it was a great fit for me. It really kind of helped me continue doing what I felt like I was meant to do.
Yeah.
Then I applied to be a narcotics detective. I went through the narcotics class and was assigned to Queens Narcotics. And during my time there, I effected over 700 arrests.
Wow.
Participated in over 100 search warrants, no-knock search warrants, and I really enjoyed it. On one search warrant, actually, when I was still a white shield, I was still a police officer, but working for narcotics. I was on the manual ram. I hit the door, and the drug dealer that they were looking for barricaded himself in the room, in his bedroom, and so they called for the ram again to breach that door. I'm already wearing a heavy vest and a ballistic helmet, basically almost the same rig in the Army. I ran down a hallway not realizing that the tiles on the floor really weren't set, and I turned right to get to the door and I slipped. I got up, I banged the door, they got the guy, we left. I was sitting down just eating, and when I went to get up, I couldn't get up. My knee was the size of a grapefruit. So I tore my meniscus and partially tore my MCL. They repaired it, and it lasted 3 years until me and my partner saw a known narcotics dealer. We followed them for a little bit, and we pulled him over. The car was occupied by 4 people, and the narcotics dealer fought with me, and my partner had to fight the other 3 people. We ran down the block to his house, and eventually, after a lot of scuffling, we arrested him. But from the car stop to when I finally arrested him was 11 minutes, and 11 minutes of running and fighting was probably the longest 11 minutes of my life.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine.
So after that, I sat down on the stoop and I called my wife, and I just told her I knew. My knee was hurting bad. It was the size of a grapefruit again, and I told her, I said, I think I'm done. And sure enough, I basically got medical boarded out of the police department. And then became a civilian, and that's when my problems really started. In the Army and in the police department, you're kind of taught to compartmentalize. Just put it in a box and keep it moving. You got a mission to do.
Yeah, I've done several hundred shows, and I found, like with Rocky, he got into music. I have other friends who got into photography or writing. They find a next level. I've done a lot of interviews, and I've been very blessed to know a lot of veterans, male and female. And they all get into something after your deployment and all. Your life has changed a lot. Some of them will get into photography, some will get into writing, some will get into music. And it's just a matter of finding your niche, because you're a very talented guy. I've already seen you up on stage, and I'm sure you'll find something.
Yeah.
I gather you're moving away, though, on me already.
Yeah.
I just meet you and you're moving away. That happens a lot with me.
The ocean calls, and I'm very peaceful by the ocean, and peace is something that I really now need and desire. So Yeah, we're going to move back by the ocean, and you know, as far as the little niche of what I can do now, I've been actually getting into some wood burning and woodworking.
There you go.
You know, I do have traumatic arthritis in my hand, so I can't really do as much as I want, but you know, it's something to keep my attention focused on other things than the past.
I have a dear friend. His name is Oscar, and he does free canes for veterans. He makes canes and he gives them away, and they're very decorative. He's on my YouTube show, and you can find him on the if you look him up. Free canes for veterans, and that's what he does to get himself, you know, it's really helpful. I'll run into a veteran and say, "Hey, look at my cane. Look at this. You know, a guy named Oscar made it for me."
That's,
yeah, I know him.
That's beautiful.
But, yeah, you know what? The woodworking that's a good outlet. But so how long were you with the police? And you went and you came down here right after that?
Not to the villages. We came down originally me and my wife came down originally to Jensen Beach, and we really liked it there. But I needed to have a pretty bad surgery on my neck, so we decided to sell our condo and move to the Albany area of New York State. You know, up by the Capitol. And I had to have a vertebrae removed from my neck because it was shattered, and they put a cadaver vertebrae in, and then fused the vertebrae above and below. And the recovery for that was long and hard, and my wife has family there, so it helped her with family there to do that. And then after I healed, we thought everything was good to go. We're ready to start living our life, so we decided to move back to Florida. And now here we are, 6 surgeries later. You know, it's time for us to live our life instead of, you know, living for my surgeries. But I'm beyond blessed to have my wife and the help of Liberty here.
So let's talk a little bit about Liberty. Can you stay awake for us, Liberty? Yeah, the tail's going. See that? Yeah. Tell me, how did this come about? And,
well, it's a very odd story. Maybe not so odd, but definitely divine intervention happened. I had been applying for service dogs. The VA, my mental health care teams recommended I get a service dog. Unfortunately, the VA at that time, and I'm not sure if they do now.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, they don't have a program to pair veterans with service dogs. So I had applied to a bunch of different programs. I happened to join Facebook groups. I'm not really a Facebook or social media person per se, but I did. And one day I saw a post, any veteran looking for a service dog in Florida, you know, please reach out to me. And that was a post by our friend Marie from Villagers for Veterans. I made a phone call, and that's where my story with Villagers for Veterans really started. I mean, it was something as simple as something as simple as a Facebook post changed my life forever. Down.
He loves you, Dad.
Yeah, she knows I'm getting a little, you know, nervous.
Yeah.
Good girl. But yeah, so I had corresponded with Marie, sent her, you know, my documentation for, you know, my service in the military and in the police department, and she called me, I don't know, a couple days later and said, yeah, you know, why don't you go to DeLand and meet this dog? And when I met Liberty, she was still a little puppy. I believe she was about 6-7 months old, and we instantly bonded.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. Well, Marie, she's sitting over there, you know, but she's a lovely lady, and what she has done for veterans and the veterans communities, beyond reproach. There's nobody else like her.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree.
I'm glad to see. I don't know exactly what organization they got the dog from. We did a couple shows here with Service Dogs for Patriots, and they're great animals, and it's, you know, because they can sense if you're having a seizure. They have ones for, you know, all kinds of different things. They answer the phone for you and everything.
Yep. Or anxiousness and
or just give you a love.
Yep, she knows that if I'm playing with her, I'm not thinking about things, and that's one of the many gifts of her. She turned out to be a much larger dog than we thought, and because of my surgeries and my mobility issues now, she helps me with that as well. So she's kind of a twofold savior in my book,
Well, I, for one, we wish you were going to stick around here, but I can understand you want to be by the ocean. A lot of people are like that. But then again, you jumped out of airplanes. I don't understand that either. But I wish you the best.
Well, thank you. This isn't goodbye. This is see you later, because,
you can find me on Facebook.
Absolutely.
And when you come up this way, you look me up, and we'll go for lunch or something.
That sounds amazing.
And, yeah. So, is there another resource for getting a service dog? I know Marie does so many things, helping you get a service dog, helping somebody get a home, helping somebody coming out of the service readjust. But there must be an age. I know, like I said, service dogs for Patriots at one time. And I'm sure there's others. Did you ever look up on the computer?
Yes, sir. Actually, I was enrolled in a program called Train a Dog, Save a Warrior, or TADSAW. It's an interesting program because they have trainers throughout the United States. And what they do is, once you're approved for the program, they get you in touch with a local trainer. You and the trainer go pick out a suitable dog for your needs, and then the trainer trains with you 2 to 3 times a week, and you get homework and evaluated, and slowly but surely the dog then gets public access certified, and then certified as a service dog.
So you went through that whole process?
I started the process and had a dog. Unfortunately, my dog failed out of one of the tests for behavioral. He was a little animal aggressive, but that's, like I said, then I was really bummed and sad. I just, lost my first service dog, and again, it's just one of those,
No, I know it. That was, you get attached.
Yeah.
Past week, I've been taking my dog to the vet. He's not out of the woods yet, but yeah, I know how it is.
Yeah, but it was all meant to be, because that's where, I got Liberty and, met Marie, and through that met you. So it was, all a perfect plan.
And you got to meet Rocky.
That was very good too. It was an absolute honor to be up on stage with him and Irving.
Yeah, Irving. Our man Irving. Yeah, World War II D-Day survivor. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to put the buzz in Marie's ear. I'd like to get Irving to come back and tell us about his trip to D-Day, this anniversary, the 80th anniversary.
Wow.
But anyway. So now you're going to the beach and you're going to be a beach bum. That's cool.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So how's your wife? Does she work or?
No, my wife is my caregiver. I have a multitude of problems. One of them is memory issues. I kind of had to study for this because there's a lot of things I probably would have forgot if I didn't write it down and have my wife help me. So she monitors my medications and reminds me of appointments, and she goes to appointments with me because a doctor might tell me something and I might forget. So, that's...
My wife goes with me all the time, too.
That's my #1 miracle in my life is having her and sticking beside me through, all the problems, and even being okay with me getting a service dog. This is the first dog my wife's ever had in her life.
Oh, yeah?
So.
Well, Liberty is a doll, I'll tell you that. But anyway, Mike, I want to thank you for your service in the military and with the police department. You've had a very exciting and fulfilling life, really. You did a lot of good stuff, man. And it's good to hear that you're going to be a beach bum.
Thank you.
You and your buddy here.
Yeah, yep. Yeah. She loves to just look at all the birds on the beach.
Yeah.
So, but I really appreciate you having me on the show. This was really an honor for me.
Back at you, brother. It was an honor for me, too. I mean, I've been doing this now, come December, it'd be 15 years that I've been doing interviews. I've done 5 years with that lovely lady over there on my YouTube, but prior to that, I used to be with the city of Leesburg. And I've met people like you wouldn't believe, and it's always a pleasure to meet someone such as yourself who's, you know, made a difference. Those are my kind of people. And I want you to take up woodworking, because if you think, I think you've got a knack for it. And you're going to have to send me some stuff and show me what you make.
Absolutely, I will do.
So we're going to say goodbye, unless you've got something else you want to add.
No, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir. And we're going to look at that camera. You ready?
Yes, sir.
To all our veterans out there, active military and their families, we salute you for all you do. Till next time. All right.